Hey, I haven't done one of these in a while. I thought I'd talk about some things that will be going on. This month is it's becoming packed for good reasons, but reasons I didn't really plan for. Tomorrow there should be the new I think it's a Chinese beat 'em up called I Am the Hero. I'm pretty interested in playing it. I did submit a request for a key on Keymailer, but my experience with them has been I've only gotten one thing funded from them that I actually wanted to play. It seems like a lot of the studios and stuff, they just send you the keys, even if it's something you wouldn't really play on your channel. Uh, but what happens is if you don't accept the key, you actually have to reject them because otherwise they get recycled to people who will use them. So I've always felt bad. I look at some of the thumbnails of those games and it's just like I'd probably play this for like 2 minutes. I don't want them to just give me a key and have me not play it or not really generate any kind of revenue for them. So I'm probably gonna buy that in the morning. The developers have been kind of vague. They're probably busy crunch time getting it to launch, but I'm interested in playing it. I'm gonna go ahead and post a link in the description. I will be playing that whenever it comes out. I assume that it will be tomorrow or probably today by the time you see this. I believe on the 19th. I don't know what date it will be for non-Japanese territories, but the Darius Burst Chronicle Saviors aiding DLC is going to come out this week as well, or next week. So I'll be playing that. I've got the PayPal money all ready to go for that. I haven't really played most of the games in the aiding DLC, so I'm not really gonna have the nostalgia and stuff that I do for a lot of the earlier DLC that they've done. I played Space Harrier and Fantasy Zone and Ray Force and stuff like that, so I was able to appreciate those. But with the obviously the Cave DLC too, I played Dononpachi and Ketsui and stuff like that before. Death Smiles as well. The aiding DLC, I think the only game that I played from them is Battle Garega, so I don't can't really comment on the accuracy of those ships, but I'm pretty excited for it. I think the DLC for Darius Burst Chronicle Saviors is just cool. The game's pretty much just become the Smash Brothers of shmups, which is cool. I mean, I hate to admit it, but if you think the character action, stylish action game genre is dying, then the shmup genre is pretty much dead and buried at this point. So it's cool that they're all working together to preserve some of the greatest games in those genres in one game. So I'll be covering that. Zestiria, I've been putting up a boss battle stuff for that. I've just kind of lost interest in playing it. I would like to finish it because I've beaten pretty much every Mothership Tales game. There's really only a couple that I haven't finished, and most of that is just because I didn't like them. I couldn't really get into Destiny 2. Destiny 2, a lot of people don't like Destiny 2 because magic is like king in that game. Not only do you have to use it to just stagger the bosses and get a combo started, melee attacks do like barely any damage in that game. The only ones I haven't beaten is Fantasia, Rebirth, Destiny 2, and Zestiria. I've beaten pretty much every other Mothership title and most of the Escort titles as well, including both versions of Innocence and Hearts. So I would like to kind of finish my little career on Tales, but I don't know if I'm going to upload the rest. Most likely I'll probably just stream it. Obviously GDQ has been going on this whole week as well, and I've been watching quite a bit of that. So that's kind of cut into my gaming time. Berseria is going to be on the 26th, so it'll be 2 days after the console version. So I don't want people to freak out on the 24th if I'm not putting out mechanics guides and stuff like that. I'm not going to be able to do it until the 26th. So for some reason, it seems like Bandai Namco Europe handles the localizations for the PC versions or the PC ports of their games. It was the same thing with Xenoverse 2. Xenoverse 2 was 2 days after the console release date. So on the 26th, I'll be doing that. I'm going to try to push to finish Zestiria by then. I'm probably just going to skip the cutscenes, continue playing it on normal. I normally play Tales games on hard mode, at least for the boss fights, but with this game, I just don't like the battle system enough. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know him, but Teaminator64, he said his New Year's resolution was to not waste time with games that he doesn't enjoy, which I think is it's an interesting concept. You see people They have no self-control during Steam sales and stuff like that, and they buy dozens of games and they feel like they have to finish them all. I've never really understood that mentality, especially if you're getting the games for like under $10. Most of the time, even like under like $6 or $7, mostly like $5 or under. You don't have any obligation to finish those games, and I only paid $6 for. Actually, I didn't even pay for it. My mom gifted me $6 on PayPal to get it off that Namco sale. So I can't promise that I'll finish it. One thing I do know is that I really enjoy the Berseria demo. I put like 2 hours into that demo. I've really enjoyed it. I think I will like it a lot more. I'll try to do some guides for it. There's actually a really nice mechanics guide that's been translated from I guess the official Perfect Guide or whatever for the Japanese version. It's definitely given me a lot of insight into how the game works, which is pretty cool considering the only access I've had to the game has been the demo. So I'll probably link to that. If I can put some of that into video form, I think that would be useful for people. I feel like pretty much all the other content for the game is going to be covered by my friends, Swillo and Omega and Clip, and some other people are all going to be getting the game on release day. And most of them already played it in Japanese, so my content for it is kind of up in the air. If I find anything cool, or I'm able to coherently explain the mechanics that are on that guide, which I'll also link to in the description, then I will do that. But the rest is probably just going to be a random playthrough. New Game Plus runs actually seem pretty fun. It seems a lot like Xillia 2, where you just do broken combos and things just disintegrate, which sounds fun for me. I have never really gotten that far into solo runs. The farthest I've gotten is probably the Tales of Hearts-R solo combo command run that I was doing. And I didn't really lose interest in it. It's just I had all those computer problems, and that just kind of killed my morale. Maybe during a dry period later on through the month, I really don't have that many games that I'm planning on getting past March. Nier Automata. But I'm also traveling to see my friends that month, most likely, so I'm probably not going to be able to afford both. I don't have a whole lot in the pipeline between then, so maybe I will do that at that time. Finally, I will be doing the 90 cap on DFO. That's supposed to come out on Tuesday morning. I know this game is kind of polarizing. I'm not really a fan of the end game. I've expressed my distaste with the end game in this numerous times. I really don't care for it. This character right here is probably my most geared character. He's got 6-piece Gracia, a plus 11 bamboo lance, which a lot of people say is best in slots. I think the next best thing aside from like a savior weapon would be the serpent spike, but obviously the RNG is kind of gonna limit whether you can get that or not. So this is like my most geared character, and I could still go a lot farther with him, but I just kind of play the game because it's fun. There are a lot of things about this game I don't like. The gear swapping meta in general. If you've ever watched the Korean players play this, the ones that like hit the damage cap and finish raid missions solo and stuff like that, they do a lot of gear swapping, and I feel like that has no place in a game like this. And apparently the developers did a little thing after the festival a couple weeks ago, and they said that they want to I don't know if they're going to abolish it, but they're going to change it. They seem to be making some changes. I'll probably level this guy up to the cap, maybe my rogue and my striker. After that, it's going to be dependent on what the events are. They haven't revealed the events yet, but there's going to be a lot of varied content this month. I don't know how long Berseria will take. I hear the plot is actually pretty good, which is saying a lot for a Tales game. The plot in Tales games has not been good for several years now. So I'm not sure what my approach is going to be. Most likely I'll be watching Omega play it on the 24th and the 25th, and whenever they announce it on the 26th. So I'll probably be skipping most of the cutscenes at the beginning. I might actually watch the plot, but I'm not really looking to rush through it. There's not really anything I'm doing past March, and Nier Automata is honestly it's on the fence right now. I don't know if I really want to drop $60 on something and find out that it doesn't have the what I'm looking for in the game, which is just solid gameplay. I haven't even played the demo yet. I haven't even gotten around to that, so no promises on that. I will have to look. I'll probably look at the people who import the game. I believe it's coming out a couple weeks in advance in Japan, but the main thing that prevents me from getting Nier Automata is that the PC version does not have a release date. It doesn't seem like they're doing a day and date thing like Namco has been doing. Namco, despite the varying quality of the ports, pretty much everything they put out last year was released the same day on PC. It doesn't seem like they're doing that with Nair, and I'm still stuck with a barely functional, very unreliable capture card. So I don't want to buy something that's $60 that's currently console exclusive, and then find out that I can't really record reliably. We don't really know if there's going to be any kind of restrictions on the share button, which, given Square Enix, there's a pretty high chance that they will, restrict it in some way. So if people want to see that, I might make it happen. But right now, it's kind of I'm pretty much going to say no at this point. I don't think it's a worthy investment for me. If I can get the capture card working, or I manage to get the funds to get a new one, then maybe I will do it. But this month is going to be pretty stacked, and then however long it takes me to go through Berseria, I know Clip is pretty much just going to use a cheat engine table to max out his art usage. Apparently, art usage is very big, very prominent in Tales of Berseria. It seems like it increases the hit stun, and you get some other cool properties as well. So I think he's just going to use a cheat engine. I'm not sure if I want to do that. I know for a fact that I will probably use a super speed mod if someone makes one on the cheat engine table. That's probably as far as I'll take it on the first playthrough. Depending on how much the art usage matters for a solo run, then I might do that, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's pretty much what's happening right now. I've had some people ask about my configuration for DFO. I already went over the new changes that I made earlier, so I'll go into training mode really quick. Let me get a teleportation potion, and I'll show people how I have my setup. I realize that I upload every day, and I've put up several videos of this, so it's probably a little difficult to find where I've talked about this. So I'll go ahead and I'll explain it really quickly. So my square button is my normal attack. If you've ever played any action game in existence, you're probably well used to having your basic attack string on your square button. It's pretty self-explanatory. My skill button, or my move button, is on triangle. And I use this for a lot of my manual inputs. X is jump. If you ever played any modern platformer in the past, I don't know how many years, over a decade, you're used to that. Circle is my second move button that I use. So for this class, it's pretty much just for your Mirage Stance stuff, your R-Lance, Ground Seeker, and that. Now the triggers I use for these first four moves here. This move is attached to L1. This one's assigned to R1. This one is L2, and this one is R2. So you have quick access to four moves. Now I tweak this for classes like whenever I need to get out right away, if I can't mess with an input, or I have too many inputs on other moves and I don't have room for it to get it out fast, what I'll do is I'll just put it here, like Mesocyclone. One of the best moves in this class, so I have that on R1. That's pretty much the gist of it. I went over the rest of it earlier. You will have to put manual inputs for a lot of this stuff. Like, for instance, my Vital Strike is just a Fireball and Z, which for me is quarter circle forward and triangle. Pretty standard, motion. Mist Flare is another one. It's just up, up, and triangle. It works pretty well. You will have to find whatever works for you, but I suggest using inputs that are no longer than two directional inputs, something like quarter circle forward, or double tap or something like that. That's pretty much the way that you compete with people. If you've ever been on Twitch, Cypher, he is one of the best players on the server. He also spends a lot of money on this game, but that part's irrelevant. What's actually relevant is that he plays on pad. He plays on Xpadder too, and he's able to compete with people. I think he has like one of the best guilds. He's part of one of the best guilds on the server. So it's not a disadvantage to play on pad. You'll just have to put some effort and find what works for you. But this setup works for me just fine. I know Cypher plays with the moves mapped to different inputs on the analog sticks. I've never really been a fan of that. Back when closers did not have controller support, I actually used that. I used it to play like that, and I honestly did not like it. I found it very awkward. And if that works for you, then you can go for it. Right now, you also have the option of ignoring the controller support with the Steam beta client. You can use the big picture mode and you can remap things that way. You can use that if you don't have access to XPatter. I don't really know how you would do that with this game, but it should be pretty self-explanatory. Maybe I'll make a guide about that in the future, but you can't link your Steam account and your Neopol account on DFO, so I haven't really messed with that too much. Anyway, that's all. Lots of exciting things happening. I don't know if I'm going to finish Berseria. Maybe now that GDQ is pretty much over at the time of recording, that I'll work on it, but no real promises really. I think I'm gonna wait and see approach. I am pretty bored these next 10 days before it comes out, so I will try to finish it. I may not upload most of it. Most likely I'll probably be streaming it if my throat permits. I've still got a lot of phlegm in my throat. My throat's still a little messed up, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, I'll go ahead and I'll provide those links in the description, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.